Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rake Your Position. I am your host, Ahron Cooney. With me is our groundskeeper, Joe, our stat man, Cory, and the ultimate rover, Jay Lee. Rake Your Position is going to be just four guys that love to talk baseball, been lifelong friends, and we just want to have some fun, living the dream from our chairs. To know a little bit more about us, we're going to share some of our favorite baseball experiences to kick off the night. So, Joe, take it away.
Yeah, and my favorite, I wouldn't say it's my favorite baseball experience, but a baseball experience, which will explain our name a little bit, Rake Your Position. When we would get done with a game in high school, it would be clean the field up, and coach would say, rake your position. Well, I tended to set the bench a vast majority of games, so I would grab a rake and rake the dugout, which brought me joy and brought other people laughter. So that's where the name comes from. All right, I'll pass it on.
Our dugout never looked better, too. Tell you what. Jay Lee?
Oh, that's me. So I think the one I have to talk about is every year our high school team, well, not every year, every other year, our high school team would go to Busch Stadium and play on the field. And I told the host of this show that regardless, I'm going to swing at the first three pitches I see, regardless of where they're at.
I was a coach at the time.
Yeah. And so I go up to the plate and, the first one's right down the middle, and you believe it, I missed it. The next one was about 3 feet higher. And then the last one, as you can imagine, was the catcher almost didn't even catch it above my head. But the cool part is after that, I think I'm the only person in Busch Stadium to ever have a curtain call on a strike three. So I'd say that's my best experience.
No, similar to that, Jay Lee. No, this is not the one I was going to talk about, but my claim to fame at Busch Stadium is I never got a hit, but I got an out in every way possible. I struck out, I grounded out, I flew out. I think I popped out or fouled out or something. Never got a hit. It was fun. The bases sure looked nice. Never got to touch them. But I will go out to 2015 at Wrigley Field. Watched Cole Hamels throw no-hitter, which was exciting in its own right. But the last out of the game was actually a Chris Bryant hit a probably 390-foot fly to center field, and Odubel Herrera was playing center field that day, and he got so close to pulling Marcelo Zuna because he went too far back and then suddenly dove back towards the infield on the warning track and barely made the catch. But it was awesome. It was at Wrigley, Jake Arrieta, Cole Hamels. Great game to go see. Ninth inning, all of Wrigley on their feet. Cubs fans were so far behind Cole Hamels. I think it's the only time I've ever rooted for the Cubs not to get on base. But it was just a really cool thing to see in person.
Awesome. My favorite story, I'm going to talk professional too, but of course I always enjoyed coaching and playing at Busch Stadium with our high school, all hail the Pittsfield Sockies. And one of my favorite experiences there is when Joseph, who I don't think had pitched in varsity baseball, maybe once or twice, mop-up innings, got a pitch as a senior at Busch Stadium, and coach just kept moving me around the infield. So I got to play every position. I started off in the outfield beginning of the game and then got to play every position but catcher and pitcher at Busch Stadium our senior year. So that was fun. But my favorite experience as a fan was my wife took me to see Chipper Jones's last home game. So that was cool. And he got to close it out at Turner Field. His teammates all made him run out onto the field in the ninth inning by himself, and he didn't realize it. And then Bobby pulled him out of the game, and he got to say goodbye to – well, it wasn't Bobby at the time. It would have been Gonzalez. Pull him out of the game, got to say goodbye to the fans. So that was cool. Chipper Jones, my favorite player all time. You probably won't hear me talk about him ever again the rest of this pod. That's it. That's the one time, guys.
That's the first time
Put that
I've
on
heard
record and hold him to it.
Chipper Jones. Chipper Jones. This pod brought to you by.
Was this guy good? I've never heard you mention him.
Yeah, he was before you were born, probably.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
you little
fair.
That's right.
Hey, real quick, since you guys added in a fan story.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah. We didn't
Sorry.
discuss that, but
This is an open space.
Jay Lee and I are now both going to have one, which I would have several to go to. So I'm sure get back to this topic at some point in the years to come that we're doing this. But I'll go with a Mark Mulder 10-inning shutout against Roger Clemens. I believe they won 1-0. Larry Walker had the game-winning hit. I believe over Lance Berkman's head. Could be wrong on that part of it, but it's almost always with family that I'm down there, so it was a good experience. But yeah, Mark Mulder 10-inning shutout.
Pretty nice. Mine real quick will be, because you guys never let me down, we were in Atlanta for Austin Riley's first career home run. They claim that I could have caught said ball. That is false. That was on the big screen. But the kid caught it, and I think the kid now owns a piece of the Braves stadium. So that's a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, gotta love the Braves. When Ender went down the night before the first game we were at, I was like, guys, Austin Riley's been playing left field. He's going to get called up. And we had left field bleacher seats, and the ball went over Jared's head by about 10 feet. I thought he's an athlete, but, whatever. Guess he's not.
Playing the wrong rover spot.
You know who would have caught that? It's Nick Markakis. He was out there.
Yeah, he should have been there.
Anyway, enough about us. People, all of our fans came here.
Hi, Mom.
To hear us. Yeah, our moms mostly. And I think,
Cory's mom's here to watch me. But
one or two of our wives. Yeah.
Hi, Cory's mom.
Yes. Tammy
Cory's mom
is wonderful. Came here to watch or listen to us talk about Major League Baseball. So let's get into some season predictions here. We're going to start with the AL West. Taking a look here. I don't see anybody usurping the Astros there. They lost Verlander. The Angels, they got the two best players on the planet. I just don't know that they made the moves this offseason to make a big.
They added a lot of pieces, but two of their biggest pieces are third basemen, and they already have one of, if not the highest paid third baseman.
Yeah, what's
AAV wise? Yeah, so I mean, if Rendon's actually healthy, which would be good for them, I don't know what Gio Urshela and Brandon Drury are going to do.
Yeah, and
so we'll see.
Is Sandoval going to improve? Is Detmer's going to improve? I know your boy there, Cooney.
Shout out to Chatham.
Yep.
Sandoval dominated in WBC. He was mowing people down for Team Mexico.
So, I mean, if they're going up teams that are bad against lefties, they got Anderson, Sandoval, and Detmer, so they're pretty set. But I don't think that's going to be enough for them to take the division. I mean, the other one, the Mariners. I think it depends what their pitching does. They got some good young pitchers, Kirby, Gilbert. Their position players are certainly there. Kelenic, we'll see how he does this year.
Great spring.
Okay.
He did. He's maybe figured it out.
Yeah, the Cardinals had the best record in the spring too. So
we gotta talk about the
Cardinals. Ring, baby.
Yeah, get the spring training ring. And then the Rangers. There's 4 good teams in that division. The Rangers made a big splash. They were 68-94 last year, though. I don't like.
It's a big jump. Yeah.
How many people can you add? I mean, they were big names, but if I'm making a pick, I'm gonna take the Astros in the West.
Alrighty. Who's next, Jared? You want to drop your knowledge on us?
Well, I don't really think I can add much to that because I also picked the Astros. So Cory pretty much nailed it on the head with that one. So I don't really think I don't see any other team outside of Houston coming out of that division, because we're going to talk about the Angels all we want, but we know what the Angels do. I would say the Mariners would be the closest team to give them a run for their money. But again, young pitching staff. So we'll see there.
Well, I guess I'll be the first to buck the trend. I have Seattle winning.
That's a terrible pick.
The division. Right there.
Excuse me, what's that say?
Let's get all of them on there.
Did you write that in 6th grade?
Excuse me?
Did you write that in 6th grade?
I typed this. This is Times New Roman.
If we were in 6th grade, the Mariners would be winning this.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, to be honest, I'm going to say I know a lot about the AL West, but I know they got some good youth out there. I mean, Houston, all they do is win, but maybe I'm factoring in Verlander being gone, Altuve out for a little bit, too much. Are we playing music or something I'm not hearing?
He
or-
said all they do is win, and
Yeah.
Cory and I had a song in our head. All
Yep.
we do is. Oh, can we sing too much of that? I don't know.
No, that's
Yeah,
copyright infringement.
Only 15 seconds. That's it.
All right.
I
You
actually
don't-
at one point had Houston finishing third behind the Angels, and then thought that's idiotic. So I moved the Angels to third, with Houston being second. More to come on that later when we have some playoff and wild card predictions.
Foreshadow.
Yeah, I just want Ohtani and Trout to have a chance to win. So it's kind of high on them, but Seattle is my division winner there. They picked up Luis Castilla, who we saw a lot in the NL Central as Cards fans.
He's filthy.
Really filthy. You know, hopefully he can put together like 30 or so starts and stay healthy. Nasty stuff.
You know, the Rangers have been pushing hard the last couple of years, adding the big names. Their ceiling is definitely raised. The floor's definitely raised, but, you know, I've watched DeGrom get hurt year after year after year. So I still think they're a year or two away. Once Leiter and Rocker join DeGrom in the rotation, I think they got something. But they'll be fun to watch. They got young guys coming on position player side as well. But yeah, Houston, even without Altuve, Houston's just loaded at every position. So I'm going to go. I got to go with Stros as well, I think. So that's 3 for the Stros and 1 for Seattle so far. All right.
Yep. All right. We'll move
You
on
guys,
to the.
you guys like cheaters? Oh, it's not sorry.
There's no cheaters left.
Yeah.
Altuve's the only one on that team, wasn't he?
Ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
There you go. Moving on to the AL Central. You know, I mean, I think that there's 2 teams you can pretty well discount pretty early here in the Tigers and the Royals. Sorry.
Oh yeah, you can.
Spoilers.
We can go ahead and say that.
Well, I mean, what did they like? They did. I don't think they did anything that impressive, and they had almost 100 losses last year. The White Sox were a confusing team this offseason. I think pretty well underperformed last year, and then made no moves at all. I think they've got a good core, though. I mean, it just depends who performs. Twins position players are there. I don't think the pitching is. You know, you got Correa, Buxton, which are 2 just kind of generational talents there. But youngest team in the majors last year was the Guardians, and they won the division pretty easily. So, you know, they didn't have to do much. I think the young guys are just going to get better. I think they take the division again this year.
They added Josh Bell too, which could be a potential big thumper in the middle of that lineup.
Yeah.
For me, I picked the White Sox, surprisingly. I think the pitching staff comes through. I'm a huge Tim Anderson fan, so I think him single-handedly will carry the team. And then, you know, I was going to pick Minnesota, but I still don't think Carlos Correa knows what team he's really playing for. So that was kind of my pick there but I'm going to go Chicago. Lock it in.
I think that's a good pick. The White Sox could be very good. Last year scares me.
They have some exciting young guys, the Sox. I agree with that. I think Cleveland runs away with the division pretty easily. Pitching, both starting and relief. Pretty solid lineup as well. I think they take it easily.
And can you give me a number
And
on how easily you think they take it?
Yeah, that's
You're
big.
really
So nonchalant. I got this one.
I don't know, 15 games.
all right. I'll put that. I'll put that.
I
in
mean,
the
they're gonna
spreadsheet.
they're gonna
All
beat
right.
Minnesota,
Game.
Kansas City, and Detroit like a combined 60 times. So
Yeah. Well, the new schedule this year, you don't play your division as much, but yeah, you still get to beat up on them a little bit. So I'm actually with Jared on this. I picked the White Sox. I think they have the second best rotation to Cleveland. Cleveland just keeps pulling young pitcher after young pitcher, but I think the Sox bullpen, man, it could be pretty nasty. A lot of arms back there. Crochet, Bummer, Kelly might take your head off and then strike you out. You never know what he's going to do. Jose Ruiz is pretty filthy.
Go Kelly.
Kendall Graveman, I assume, will get the bulk of the closing while Hendricks is out. But if he comes back off, Liam's back by the end of the year, that bullpen's just going to be even stronger. And the only person they lost was Jose Abreu, but that allows Vaughn to actually play first base, and they added Benintendi to play left field in Vaughn's place. So their offense should be just as good. So I think Eloy and Robert, they haven't done much collectively yet for over full season. And the change in managership just didn't seem like Tony La Russa was a good fit there. So
I was going to say they lost a Hall of Fame manager who seemed to be loved by the
but he was a
city.
Hall of Famer back in the day. So I think with the change of leadership, getting some of these guys in a more natural position, and their pitching's just loaded. So I'm going to go with the White Sox as well.
A note to add about La Russa: Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame drinker.
Sure. I think the White Sox are good. I mean, that's like if they click on all cylinders, if Eloy and Robert and Moncada and Anderson, like the names go on, Sheets, Vaughn, and like you got Berger, like they got big hitters, and just, I mean,
Yeah,
the
but
pitching's there, but they went 81-81 last year and they didn't do anything. So what, like, I don't know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. Like, we got the same team.
And to be honest, if I'm clicking on all cylinders, I'm like a AAA player. You can't always
Sure.
count on everybody performing at the top of their game. That's why
Sure.
Cleveland takes it by 15.
Yeah, so we got 2 for the White Sox and 2 for the Guardians, but one
I'm
is
not sold on Jimenez Rosario double play combo. Those guys both played amazing last year. Jimenez hit out of his mind. He's never been that kind of player. Stephen Kwan, like Miles Straw, Oscar Gonzalez, that's not a good outfield. I don't know.
Gonzalez
So-
hits. Straw and Kwan field. Kwan gets on base, doesn't strike out.
Straw was like one of the worst hitters in the game last year.
He has the longest active homerless streak.
Yeah, he's going to get
So-
replaced by a rookie by midseason, and I don't know. I just don't think there's enough offense there.
And you
For
got Jose
Cleveland.
Ramirez. You don't need anybody else.
That's all you need.
One
Yeah.
guy. Him and Bell's a nice 3-4 combo or 2-3, however they bat him, but there's not much else there.
I think they'll probably do like Ramirez will be like a 2-9 at the same time. Like they'll just sneak him in, put a
Sneak him in.
mustache on him.
Bat left-handed one time, bat right-handed the next time.
Give him a Bobby Valentine jersey.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on to the East, which I think will probably warrant some discussion as well. I mean, these are all competitive teams last year.
Mhm.
Red Sox were 5th with 78 wins, which is quite a bit higher than any other 5th place team. They made some moves. I don't think it was anything to really boost them up that much in this division. I think there's other teams that made a lot better ones, particularly the Yankees. The Orioles, I mean, the Orioles are going to be fun. They're going to be fun this year. They're going to be fun every year for the next 3 or 4 years.
Until they got to pay people.
What's
Well,
that?
yeah.
So until they got to pay people. They'll be fun until they got to pay people.
Yeah, I mean,
It's always been a good baseball town. Hopefully they do it right and keep these guys.
Well, and I mean, I think with the trend of extending younger players that seems to be happening, hopefully that translates to Baltimore as well. But the Rays, and I think this might be the year where we see the Rays kind of take a step back from what they've been doing, at least in my opinion. Kind of moving up. Blue Jays, again, it's one of those teams where if everybody's clicking, like it's dangerous. Pitching, there's some question marks there, but that offense I think can compete with the best. But I mean, each of the first 2 I picked the teams that won the division last year. I'm going to keep going with that because I think the Yankees just added the pieces that are going to keep them up there. And re-signing Judge, they signed Rodon. They got Cole coming back.
Who's already got forearm issue.
Does he? Well,
Yeah. Yankees are down 3 starters already, I think.
And Bader.
Oh man!
Go
All right.
ahead.
You know what? Since
Make
Bader's
your
out,
pick.
since Bader's out, I'm changing it.
That actually makes
That's
that
why-
makes them better.
that's why-
That makes them better.
That's why I
No.
told you that, Corey. I knew
No,
that
no,
would change
no.
your
I'll
answer.
stick with the Yankees. I mean, I think even with that, like they got the guys that. I mean, they're built to win now. I think they're winners now. I think they're going to do. I think they're. It seems like they're getting back to kind of old Yankees where they are doing what they can to win. like other teams that did the kind of big contracts paying people. I think the Yankees are kind of back to doing that, and I think they realize where they're at. So I'll take the Yankees again. I've got a feeling when we get to the wild card,
gonna be.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
get
here we
it,
go.
Cooney.
Wait, 15 seconds. Some of these teams are going to come up in my wild card discussion, but I'll take the Yankees in the East.
Yeah, I mean, the fun part about going behind Cory is he gets to talk about all this stuff for me, and I just get to make my pick and move on. But
There's a
I
reason he's a
wrote
stat man.
this is one of the divisions I was really torn on. Like I'm gonna go with what I wrote down, which is the Yankees, because I agree with Cory. Like I think they're a team that's like to old Yankees, like they're trying to win another ship, so they're gonna pay whatever. They don't care the amount. But for me, it was really close between Toronto and Baltimore to not pick them to win. But sticking with the Yankees, locked in, moving on.
I'd also like to point out that I think the fact that they are committing to Volpe is a good step for them, and not throwing out Isaiah Kiner-Falefa every game at shortstop. So that's again kind of the whole thing of like they know, and I mean I think the players want to see Volpe at shortstop too. It's like they know what they need to do to win, and they're going to do whatever they need to do it. Kind of like the old school George Steinbrenner Yankees. But sorry, Joe, cut you off.
No, you're good. I do have a slight presentation prepared for this division. Is that okay to run that, or should I just go through my prediction?
No, let's see it.
Go. Let's go for
You
a drum
pay for
roll.
the Zoom channel, so yeah.
All right. Very high tech here. Let me make sure it's going properly. All right. You guys see that? All right.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, share your screen.
Oh, I didn't share it? Oh, I should share my screen.
This is really great for the people that only listen to the audio too. I do want to point that out.
All right,
Okay.
do you guys just see the Red Sox?
Yeah, fifth place. Well done.
Okay, so I got 1 through 5 on this. And as Cory mentioned earlier, there's wild card teams, and we'll get to the playoff discussion. You'll see I give some love to some of these other teams. I have the Red Sox in 5th. You'll notice there's no players in those jerseys. I think they would do just as well if that's how they played, because they were bad and they didn't really do anything other than re-sign a few guys. 4th, I have Tampa Bay. You'll know that they did used to be the Devil Rays until Russell Crowe came along.
A really high quality image you got there, by the way.
Yeah. HD.
Hey, nothing but the best. You can revert back to what Cory said about the Rays. They're always pretty solid. They seem to play well as a low budget team, but I got a lot of heavy hitters and some up and comers in this division. Baltimore having 3rd. They got some really good young guys, but none of those guys are
that's
pitchers.
me and Cory.
Yeah, I remember when you had orange hair.
Yeah.
And
Sidearm, baby.
Why is the umpire like, he's like, nah, I'm not going to call anything back here.
maybe Cory's pitching. The umpire's like, I get out of here. I think that's what's going on. Although he's probably in a more dangerous spot there with Cory throwing.
So Baltimore, like I said, some good young players, but their pitching's awful. In 2nd,
Oh my God.
Blast.
in 2nd, I have the Yankees. You'll see Mr. Glass there. That's the current Yankees roster. As Cooney mentioned, they have at least 2, if not 3 starters, I think, starting on the DL. Their center fielder. And these are guys that in the past have done the same thing. I mean, they're not super reliable. But like I said, I'll give some love to some wild card teams later.
Stanton's always hurt too.
In 1st, like
Iconic.
Bitcoin this month, I have the Blue Jays on the upswing. That is iconic. That bat flip is in home run. I think their lineup is loaded and their pitching is good enough to come in first. They'll start hot and get out to a lead that they won't give up. And that concludes
The fact that you brought a presentation is
Yeah, I expect
the
this
best.
weekly now.
Yep.
Oh, and I got another one.
All right.
Go
So
ahead.
we got Cory, Yankees, Jared, and Joe are Blue Jays so far.
That's correct.
No, I'm Yankees, man.
Oh, you're
yeah, no,
Yankees.
you're
Two
right.
Yankees. Well, I'm also going Blue Jays. Joe is a smart man. You just look at this Blue Jays roster. They got 6 starters ready to go, where the Yankees can't find 5. Their bullpen's just as good as anybody in the league, and they don't have a weak spot. And their defense is going to be awesome this year, especially in the outfield. Adding Varsho and Kiermaier, allowing Springer to move to
Just
right
say it,
field.
Daly.
Lots of hitting, lots of depth. So I'm going Blue Jays to finally take the East.
I think outside of those last 2 players you mentioned, like it's the same roster, right? Pitching staff, everything.
So Ryu's back. They added Chris Bassett. They get a whole year of Jose Barrios, which,
Yeah.
his hype's always been better than his performance. But if he's your number 5 starter, you're doing pretty good. Gossman and Manoah, it's all about those 2 guys at the top, and Yasoi Kikuchi.
Okay. Well, that's what I thought. Me and Cory were right. I just wanted to make sure.
All right. Revisit this in 6 months.
All right, we'll do since we talked about a lot of teams already, we'll just do some rapid fire wild card. So my 3 picks for the wild card, lost my list of teams, is the Blue Jays. Give you guys some love there. The Orioles and the Angels. So that kind of makes the odd teams out, the Mariners and White Sox, I think, is as far as kind of those are my bubble picks. But I just don't think the Mariners pitching scares me. I know they got Castillo, but there's just a lot of question marks for those young guys behind them. And again, the White Sox, 81 and 81 last year, and they didn't do anything. They should have done better last year. So maybe last year's the outlier, but just can't do it.
Yeah. Man, I thought we were going to be the exact same, Cory. I also have the Blue Jays and Orioles, but I slid in the Mariners. Again, I think the East, I think it's close. I think, like I said, I was really torn on who to pick to win the division. So I think you're going to easily have 2 more teams in the wild card. And then the Central, I think whoever wins that, you're not going to see another wild card team out of that division. And then the Mariners, I think. Like I said, they're going to give Houston the biggest trouble, but those are the 3.
My wild card teams were New York out of the East. I could see them winning. I guess if I can see them winning 100 games, I probably should have made them the champions. But I could see them getting close to 100 wins. I also had
the Mets won 100 last year and didn't take the crown. All right, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, there's always, not always, but that happens. Houston I have as a wild card, and then the Angels I have as a wild card. Mostly, as I said earlier, just want to see some of those guys get a chance to win on the Angels. So that the 2 biggest, I guess, leaving out would be Baltimore and the White Sox. But hey, we can't all make it until they add 15 wild card teams, and then maybe we can all make it
next year.
So I've got the Mariners wild card. I got the Yankees wild card, and I slid the Angels into. I just think Shohei's on a mission. Him and Trout play a whole year. Gosh, let's root for him.
Yeah.
But I think the East is going to beat up on each other a little bit, and the Angels can steal more wins in their own division than, say, like Tampa or Baltimore can. So I got the Angels sneaking in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody in baseball just wants to see the Angels play in the
I know.
postseason. Like,
So much fun watching them in the
very
WBC.
likable guys and team. Yeah.
Well, if Shohei's there the whole year, like, you just hope the Angels are good for the first half of the year. Like that's all you can hope for, so they keep him. But yeah, I don't know. That's the dream. Is Trout?
They did
and
announce
Ohtani.
that they're going to start their top catching prospect in the majors, Logan Ohapi. I'm not sure if you pronounce it or not. The dude just hits, and they haven't had an offensive catcher.
I mean, say that.
And Rendon is healthy so far, so that allows Gio and Drury to back up everybody else. So I mean, let's go. Come on, Angels.
All right, we will switch over to the National League here into the West. And I looked at these teams and I thought there was no way I'd think about the Dodgers as much as I did. But the team's still good. They didn't do much, but the team's still good. You got Freddie and you got Mookie.
I mean, that's pretty
And that's
solid.
I
it.
mean,
Well,
yeah, but you don't
you have
win.
Freddie and
Look how many-
Mookie. Like those are,
They won a lot of games.
yeah, they won 111
I
games.
know they
last
lost
year.
some pieces, but
They lost Trey, and Lux is down now too. So yeah, here we go. Well, the whole point of this is I'm taking the Padres anyway, but I did think about the Dodgers a lot more than I thought I was going to.
I will let you finish, but we'll say the same thing when it gets to me.
Spoilers.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just like I was going into it. I was like, oh, Padres, no doubt. And I was like, oh, the Dodgers won 111 games last year. I was like, oh, they still got a lot of good teams. Like, what does Kershaw have left in the tank? I don't know. The Giants are very confusing. They almost got Judge. They almost got Correa. Again,
They
I don't think
tried
they
hard.
had Correa. They had Correa.
Yeah, that's
Failed the
true.
physical. Yeah.
Diamondbacks, I think, will be fun in a couple years. They got a few good young exciting guys, and the Rockies, I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, I'm taking the Padres after all that talk about the Dodgers. I don't know that we need to say a lot about the Padres. They paid a lot of people, and that hasn't really seemed to work out in the past. I remember when the Marlins tried to do that and then traded them all to the Blue Jays. But maybe it will this time. I just think, like, on paper, the Padres are awesome. We'll see how they play on the field.
Yeah. I think I remember saying at the World Baseball Classic, but I think it was the night I wasn't feeling well. I'm pretty sure I told you guys I picked the Diamondbacks to win the division.
You did. I'm waiting for it.
That's going to be my first take back. So I'm going with the Padres because I don't know how you cannot pick them, as Cory would say, like on paper. But I have seen Fernando Tatis Jr. field a fly ball, and that might make their chances go down the drain. So not feeling great there. But, I mean, yeah, the Dodgers outside of Freddie and Mookie, I'm not too scared. So Padres locked in.
I'm pulling up the Padres now. Look at their roster because you guys are all talking about them.
Oh yeah,
Not changing my mind, but
if you pick Arizona, I'm jumping off my roof. But I'm going with San Diego, and pretty much for the same reason the other guys went with.
This is the pinch of rage.
How high is your roof, Joe?
I mean, it's a single-story house, but ain't the first time I've done it.
And he'll do it again too.
Yeah, I think the Dodgers lost enough pieces. Arizona, I'm going to show some love to Arizona, but they're not there yet. San Diego's a powerhouse. I mean, they might have the best offense in the league. So, San Diego, founded by the Germans. They're going to take.
I don't think we could say that.
What's the
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It loosely translates to something, but I'm not sure what it is.
We'll edit it out. Don't worry.
Oh gosh. Well,
Let's
guys, I did it. I picked the Diamondbacks. I did.
I'll be right back.
I do not like the Dodgers rotation. Urias and Kershaw at the top, and then who? A bunch of guys that were supposed to be good over the last couple of years and haven't been consistently. They're hyping Shelby Miller in their bullpen. I don't know. Their outfield. Okay, Miguel Rojas at shortstop, Max Muncy at third. I mean, we can't shift. Like I think the Dodgers have done a great job with shifts and analytics, making up for the lack of infield range. And now they don't have Turner, and Muncy's actually got to stay put at third base. It's gonna be iffy. Outfield: Chris Taylor, Trace Thompson, Mookie Betts. Trace wasn't even in the league half the year last year. I don't know. I'm going Diamondbacks.
There's another team in that division, though.
Yeah, you didn't talk about the Padres at all.
You guys talked about the Padres. Okay. I'm not sold on Fernando. He's going to be out for a while.
No. You pulled their lineup up. Read it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's look at the roster. Rotation is solid. Nothing special. I think Diamondbacks rotation is just as good with top top pitching prospects ready to go. Pins, you never know, but both comparable. Jake Cronenworth at first base doesn't scare me. They got good defense up the middle but I don't know, Trent Grisham in the center. I don't know.
You're missing. You haven't mentioned a very important piece on that team.
Soto. Do you think he's going to be there the whole year?
No.
Manny?
No.
Where's he gonna? Is he going?
Xander?
Somewhere?
Nope.
Who else is left?
His initials are MC.
Matt Carpenter?
Oh yeah.
Is that what you want me to say? You want me to say Matt Carpenter on the pod?
Guaranteed division.
Jay Lee, you got the best stash probably.
Guaranteed division.
Can you give me one of these?
Do you think they keep Soto all year if he's not going to sign before free agency?
You just saw them shell out so much money. They'll give that man whatever he wants.
Can they though? I mean,
what are they like? What if you're a winning team and you trade Soto? Like, what are you doing?
What do the Padres trade everybody? Oh, no, I think the Padres will be good. I'll get some love for them later, but I think the Diamondbacks don't have a weakness, and they have lots of exciting young guys knocking on the door.
The Diamondbacks do have a weakness. We were at their field. No one's in that stadium.
Diamondbacks weren't playing.
There could be some upgrades there.
Just before I press enter on this line, you are locking in the Diamondbacks.
I'm locking in the Diamondbacks.
Okay. All right.
They got depth at every position
with 81 wins.
They got depth at every position, and them and the Padres have the two best rotations in the West. And the Diamondbacks have arms coming.
All right, bold pick. I would love for that to happen because I'm tired of seeing the Dodgers and Padres. I'd love for someone else to come out of there.
Mm-hmm.
On to the Central, who three of us have dogs in this race.
We just say the Cardinals and move on.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take.
No, we need to know why.
No, that's fine.
Because the rest of the division's boo.
The one I will take the Cubs in second.
It's for the record.
I say Cubs will be in second at the All-Star break and then fall apart because if they're that good, they're selling off a lot of pieces. So they won't finish second. But they will be fun to watch.
Signed Nico to a 3-year. They're like, oh, we signed Nico to an extension. It's 3 years. It's like, oh, that's 1 year free.
We can still trade him.
Awesome, yeah. No, I mean, I think. You got the Pirates and the Reds at the bottom. I think again. I think the Pirates will be better. I think the Reds are pretty solidly at the bottom. Pirates will be exciting young team for the next few years. Brewers, what Yelich are you getting? Burns will be good. I think they're good. And then the Cubs, it's another thing where they got some guys. Do they click? Does Dansby, who I'm the first person to say Dansby's bad at baseball, and he plays for the Cubs. But
talk about something that doesn't age well.
Yeah, well,
comments.
That's fine. Bellinger, again, having I think a pretty decent spring. So is he are him and Kelenic gonna be buddies and start raking? I think if the guys they signed do good, great. If not, they trade them, and also good. But I think if they perform, they can pull out second. But I mean, being a Cubs fan, the most frustrating thing about the Cardinals is that they just win, and exactly. So I'm not gonna bet against them. I really there's plenty of question marks with the Cardinals, especially in the rotation. I think they got the position players, and I think their position players are better than anybody else's in the division, and I think everybody's got questions in their rotation. I mean, I think the Brewers probably have the best rotation, but
it's not really close. Brewers got the pitching; they got nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, after that, it's just kind of it's not good. So, I think the Cardinals are just the most well-rounded team. Cubs take second, Brewers take third, Pirates, Reds, but who cares about that?
Yeah. I'm not even going to mention the Pirates or the Reds because I think we know where they're going to finish at the bottom, like always. I think the Brewers, depending on how the Brewers go, they could be sellers as well. I think it was Burns who's already expressed this and some pretty negative comments about the Brewers, so I could see them splitting up. Probably my favorite free agent signing this year was Cody Bellinger to the Cubs, because like I want to see that dude do good. I love his swing. I think he's a fun player to watch. So I really do hope he goes to Chicago and just destroys, just not the Cardinals. Obviously, I'm not going to not pick the Cardinals. I think they've made one of the smartest decisions in most recent history for St. Louis in bringing up their stud prospect and Jordan Walker. They finally got smart and realized, oh, let's bring up these players who are hitting well. I think he will eventually win an outfield spot and be an everyday outfielder. But to Cory's point, there's still a lot of ifs with that team. Like the Tyler O'Neill. What Tyler O'Neill are we going to get? I think the same with Tommy Edman. If I'm being honest, I would love for Tommy Edman to just be straight garbage, and I would love to see Mason Wynn come up. I think that dude's electric. I think he played nuts in spring training, so I would love to see that. But who knows? And then, of course, the biggest question is the rotation. Flaherty's going to be hurt after his first outing. Wayne was already hurt, so just kind of depends. And Matt's, he might be hurt. Michaelis might get hurt, so there's a lot of what ifs there. But I still think on paper, St. Louis locking them in without a doubt.
I'm gonna step in again, and sorry, Joe. I think kind of talking about these guys that are getting called up at the beginning of the season with Walker and Volpe, like that was one of the things that I think MLB did a really good job of, where they reward the pick. If you bring a guy up at the beginning of the season and they win Rookie of the Year, you get an extra draft pick as a sort of incentive to stop keeping these guys down for a few months. So
don't you get, like, if you get the award, you get the full year of service anyway?
Yes. So Adley last year got second, and he got credited a full year.
Yeah, if you get votes for some of these awards, you get the full year of service regardless.
So I think I think MLB is doing a lot of interesting things.
You're seeing these guys click right away. I mean,
yeah,
that's great.
Anyway, take it away, Joe.
All right. And maybe should we have had a disclosure about how we have 3 NL Central fans here? Or
I think we did.
I think they'll catch on.
Well, this is the other division that I have a PowerPoint for.
Let's go.
Thank you, Microsoft. Make sure I click the right thing here. I don't want you guys to see any of my super secret notes I got to the side. All right. You see this?
Yeah.
That's
really? You think the Pirates are getting 5th?
Oh yeah, the Pirates will be 5th for sure. Their team, I don't think they have a player that would make any other team in the league. This person is actually their cleanup hitter that got signed. He's the best hitter in their lineup.
This is why you're the groundskeeper.
Yeah. You can't name Brian Reynolds or O'Neill Cruz, Key Brian Hayes, all these young studs. Okay.
Young studs that bat 220 with a 260 OBP and 150 Ks. No, I'm out.
Oh no!
Okay.
Maybe
you went there. 3rd.
Hey, these are my predictions. Can I speak, or do you guys?
Yeah,
no, you can't.
Okay.
Derailing your prediction time.
So this is Chicago. Maybe this is me being a little bit of a troll. I guess I didn't like any of their pickups. Bellinger, maybe he finds something. He's still young and athletic enough to do so. Can maybe pop 40 bombs at Wrigley, but I'm hoping he bats 180. So this is a motion activated trash can, which is probably a good describer of the Cubs team. Next, I have Cincinnati. That's Mark Mulder, Tim Hudson, and
Barry Zito.
Doesn't even know no PowerPoint.
They got 3 pitchers that I like, that I think will be pretty good, and they're getting a lot of comparisons to these guys when they were on the Athletics. So I have Cincy in 3rd. I think they'll be bad, but I'm just hoping they're slightly better than Chicago. 2nd, I have Milwaukee. This is Devin Williams. He was lights out in the WBC. We got to see him pitch, I don't know, once or twice. Nasty stuff. And they have, the 2 starters who are studs.
And he is their closer now, right?
If he's not, he should be. Yeah.
Think if he's still a setup man.
Mm-hmm.
I ridiculed their trade last year when they got rid of Hader. I think you guys are maybe a little more favorable towards it, but anyway, mostly as we've already said, the Central is weak, probably the weakest division in all of baseball. So they're good enough to get second. Number one, I have the Cardinals, not just because I'm a fan. What?
The rings.
A lot of rings
yeah.
there. Let me count them. 1, 2.
They have the most rings in
Don't even fit in the screen. There's so many.
Second most
There's 11
rings in MLB history. And
The
these guys
exact
will tell
reason you hate the Yankees is why you like the Cardinals. Okay, gotcha. Go ahead.
And these guys will tell you or at least I feel like I am a perennial. What's the opposite of a optimist?
Pessimist.
Yeah. Pessimist. Usually think the worst of a sporting outcome and whatever team I'm rooting for. And I'll probably be let down because this year I'm pretty excited about what the Cardinals got going on with some high upside young guys. I was surprised Walker made the team, to be honest. Really hope he sticks and gets off to a fast start so he can get confidence and be a 20-year-old stud. It reminds me a lot of myself, to be honest, as far as
Here we go.
how he plays, how he looks.
The stature, especially.
Yeah.
Looks how he looks.
And so I'm excited for the Cardinals. I don't want to fanboy on them too much because I know we're talking about all of baseball here, but
yeah,
they got some guys that I like.
For all
guys
the
that I don't like.
For all the audio podcast listeners, if you were to put Jordan Walker and Joe right up next to each other, you'd barely be able to tell the difference.
Accurate. Yeah.
It's like looking in a mirror.
Of course, Joe looks like the water boy standing behind Jordan Walker,
Sure.
filling up the Gatorade cooler, but he's in the picture.
But I'm there.
All righty. Well, you guys drooled over your Central. I'll keep it short and sweet. I think
we got yours coming.
I think Joe's order is probably accurate because I think if the Cubs do start off hot, they are planning on selling a lot of pieces. And so they will free fall second half of the year. And the Reds on the opposite, they got a lot of young guys that they may start trying in the bigs at some point this year. It could be a lot of fun to watch. But I think it's close. I think it's close between the Cardinals and the Brewers, two teams that are built drastically different. Brewers are all on the rotation. I'm a big William Contreras fan. I think he's going to light it up playing every day for the Brewers. That's going to help their offense. But they don't have much else if Yelich is the same Yelich he's been the last couple of years. And the Cardinals have depth at every position with young guys on the way, but I do not like their rotation. So they're built differently, but the Cardinals they got that winning culture. And I trust they will add if they are close, where the Brewers, like you said, even if they're in it, they might sell off their pieces to plan for the future. So I'll take the Cardinals, but it's single digits, I think, in the division. I don't think it's going to be a runaway.
Yeah, that's about how I expected that to go. Which hurts my feelings a little bit, but
Hey man,
I like everything the Cubs did. I just don't think they're going to plan on winning this year.
I know. I mean, yeah, it's fine.
I gave props to Cody Bellinger, man.
It's fine. I tried to be nice to the Cardinals, and then Joe just puts the Cubs in fourth. So whatever.
Puts them in trash, man.
He put them in fifth.
No, Pirates are fifth.
Oh, my bad. I apologize.
Anyway, on to the East, which I think is probably the most. I mean, the West is interesting, but I think the East is just a little bit more fun. You got Steve Cohen's Mets. The Phillies made some big moves. There's another team in the division. Probably
the Nationals are pretty good.
Yeah, the Nationals. They got some good talent there. I mean, young talent. They got good.
They're young.
Talent. Yeah, they're
we'll
very.
We'll wait to see the talent
very
side.
Young.
Although Joey Meneses is their best rookie last year's 30 or something like that, so they're not really young.
Talk about a Brian LaHare-esque MLB debut for him. But the Braves. I mean, the Braves have been the powerhouse in the past. I think the Phillies and Mets definitely are the ones that are going to beat the competitive teams there. I'm not going to talk about the Braves because I don't need to talk about the Braves on this podcast.
Why not?
because somebody is going to do that for me.
You're welcome.
I would have taken the Mets. I'm afraid with Edwin Diaz scares me. I think their bullpen.
Why does he scare you? He's in a wheelchair.
Well, yeah. Well, have you ever? Sometimes people in wheelchairs are scarier than people not.
He's out for the whole year already.
I don't think they got anybody to replace him, and I just he was a force.
Best entrance.
Yeah.
I've seen in a long time. That's awesome.
On top of that, I think the Phillies made some moves, and I'll take the Phillies.
You're taking the Phillies to win the division?
I am taking
locking
the Phillies
that
to win
in.
the division. Yeah, I am locking that in. Yeah, their pitching is, Joe, I think a couple of years in a fantasy draft, we gave you some flack for drafting Zach Wheeler, and he had the best season of his life. So I mean, he's pretty good. They got Nola. Painter's down for a few weeks. We'll see if he comes back.
And he's 19, so
yeah, well, hey,
they're going crazy about this kid.
If they were ready to bring him up.
I know that shows you how bad they are.
Well, their offense is pretty good, and they got Trey Turner, and you know what? I'm feeling patriotic, so I'm taking the Phillies.
Taijuan Walker is a good ad there. They got 3 legit pitchers.
I think they can do it. That's why I'm picking them. I'm the stat man. Take it away, Jared.
Oh, okay, cool. Yep. I wanted to go Philly. I love me some Bryce Harper. I think he's the definition of swag. And but he's not back to All-Star break, correct?
Around there, I think.
They're saying sooner. They didn't put him on the IL. They didn't put him on the 60 because I think he's going to be back sooner. But yeah.
Okay. Well,
he still can't play the field.
I think their offense is still pretty decent without him, but I mean, once you add him, it's even more electric. But I'm trying to steal all the points that Cooney's going to make about the Braves, so I can seem smart. I guess their weakest position would be left field, maybe shortstop.
Oh, there ain't going to be a weak position on the team. Don't even
go there.
Okay. Well, what I will say is, I would say Olson's going to hit I think he said 65 bombs because there's no more shift. So we'll go with that.
Shift doesn't stop over.
I think that, but hey, those are your words, not mine. I'm just saying what you told me.
You still owe us like $600 from last year.
That's not true. It wasn't on the pod. It doesn't count.
But I think the Mets will be the Mets. They're gonna somehow mess it up. I mean, they've already started with Diaz being hurt. So I'm gonna pick the Braves, locking that in. I have no further comment.
Oh, that's on to me. I have the Braves winning it as well. They're just solid, man. They've kind of done it. I don't want to say the right way because I guess there's really no right way, but I hope the Cardinals have as much, I don't know if luck's the right word, but luck as having young guys turn out to be really good as the Braves have had recently. It seems like everybody that's brought up has been like all pro level almost. So I haven't taken it again, and I'll let Cooney dote for the next hour.
All right, so on to the wild card.
I also have the Braves.
Wow.
The Braves had to go through that horrible 3 years of rebuild, and they added like everybody's number one pitching prospect. And honestly, the only one that's turned out is Max Fried. Aaron Blair's gone. Ian Anderson, Mike Soroka have been hurt, both in the minors. Touki Toussaint's gone. So the position players have worked out, but they've had to put some pieces together for that rotation. But it's finally there, I think. But now I say that they're starting 2 rookies in the rotation, and the Braves have the worst farm rank by MLB.com, and they're starting 2 rookies in the rotation. So we'll see. But of course, I'm still picking the Braves. They won the division last year, get a full year of Acuna, full year of Albies, a full year of Rosario. Plus, they have like 13 other outfield options if Rosario isn't back. But he's looked great in the World Baseball Classic. He's been hitting the ball out of the park since he's came back to the Braves camp.
You haven't even mentioned the best outfielder yet.
Out of the park, like 700-foot bombs.
Well, spring training park, so it's not very big stands, but yeah, he's crushing it. You talking about Ozuna? Ozuna has had a great spring as well. So if we get anything from him, but of course they added Murphy, so Darno's going to get a lot of DH at bats anyway.
I thought we were going back to the Central, and you were talking about Lars Nootbaar.
Oh,
yeah, we'll see about Lars. Nobody mentioned Lars. I just want to throw that out there.
I'm high on Lars.
The Phillies without Harper for a while, and of course Hoskins is out now the whole year.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he blew his ACL out. Yeah, just tripping over, trying to fill the ground ball, blew his ACL out. So it's bad luck for the Phillies. I don't think they have it this year. The Mets, they lost to DeGrom, Walker, Bassett, added Verlander, Quintana, Senga. So the rotation's about in the same spot it would have been last year. Everybody else they spent money on was the guys they already had, Nemo, Diaz, and now they don't have Diaz. So, yeah, Braves to win the East. And now with Diaz out, it might be by 10 games, but we'll see. Go out there and go get a new closer if he wants. So it may be Devin Williams for the Brewers or something. Who knows?
Yeah. Bad news for the Phillies about Hoskins, but good news for the Phillies. Maybe Castellanos can play first base.
Yeah, they're talking about Castellanos going, and they just traded for Christian Pache, former Brave. But Pache had a good spring, hit 300. Of course, elite defense and speed, and with the new rules, potentially more stolen bases. I don't know why the Athletics gave up on him after 1 year. Like that was your big piece for Olsen, and they're like, no, we don't need him anymore. So Phillies adding him will help their defense for sure.
All right. Super rapid fire wild card. I'm going Mets, Braves, Dodgers. And that's all I have to say about that.
That's all I have to say about that. Dope. I have wild card, the Dodgers, love to the Diamondbacks and the Phillies.
Similar picks for me. I have Dodgers, Diamondbacks, and Mets.
I have the Mets, Padres, and Brewers sneaking in there. So I have the Dodgers not making the playoffs. I just want people to realize that that's what that means.
I heard that.
All righty. Now, World Series matchup. Y'all ready for this?
Yep.
Guardians over Blue Jays. The Guardians remind me a lot.
They're both in the AL.
Oh yeah, you're right. Cut this out. Looking at the wrong.
I was just speechless. I'm like, am I missing something?
Yeah,
all right, fans, you can shut off now. Just forget it. Rake your.
I was looking at the wrong columns on my spreadsheets.
The 49ers.
Hey, for the record, that'd be an insane matchup.
I'll take the Bears.
All offense versus all pitching.
I'm still taking the Guardians over the Padres. The Guardians remind me a lot of the 2016 Cubs, where they're a young team that I think the Cubs really won a little bit sooner than they were supposed to. I think their target was more.
That dynasty just was awesome.
Well, we don't need to talk about that. It's a lot like Bruno.
Nice.
They don't have kids. They don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, it's fine. That's why they can realize that the Guardians and the Blue
I know
Jays.
Who Bruno is.
Not here. I'm thinking Bruno Mars.
I think the Guardians have the pitching that when you match up in a series, if they're all healthy, it's hard to beat. I think they got guys that can come with the timely hits, and Ramirez is just fun, and he hits. That's all he does is hit. And they play good defense. Like if you got good pitchers for 4 games and you play good defense, you're tough to beat. So, Guardians over Padres on the second try.
Okay. So I have to pick a winner. Yeah, that's the
Yankees, Red Sox, World Series.
Okay.
Do we want to score here for a tiebreaker?
We're cutting all that out.
I guess we can wait and see if
we're all going to have different teams. It ain't going to matter. Right. I don't have Cleveland and Blue Jays, so
I'm gonna be that guy, and I'm gonna pick the Cardinals over the Mariners.
That was my ALCS matchup. Sorry.
The Cardinals versus the
Um,
Mariners?
Cardinals? Yeah, the Cardinals of the
No,
ALCS.
no, mine.
Corey,
mine.
we're past it. Just give it up, dude.
Joe, you get promoted to stat man. Corey's getting demoted to groundskeeper.
That's fine. Once this gets
Um,
edited, I'll still look like a genius.
I ain't
that
in
is
that.
100% true, Corey. Why I picked this matchup real quick, just because I do think the Mariners are going to figure it out and click. Like, I think that's probably, for me, the outside of the Cardinals, the team that I'll be watching the most, just because I think of what they have. I mean, J-Rod's electric, and that whole surrounding cast, and I think they've got a pitching staff to go pretty deep. The Cardinals, I think pitching staff will struggle in the beginning, but I do think I keep going back to the Jordan Walker move, because you haven't seen the Cardinals franchise make a move like this in a minute, that I think they're all in. And if they're close, they're going to do whatever they can to get to the World Series, because it's been a minute. And a matter of fact, win a playoff round. I think that's first and foremost. So I'm going to stand by it. It's probably wrong, but I'm going to die on that hill. So Cardinals over Mariners.
Sounds like a mid-season trade and extension for Ohtani to St. Louis. Just throwing that out there. Maybe that'll butterfly effect into happening. So I have the Yankees over the Padres, and I know I kind of beat up the Yankees a little bit earlier, but I think they're a team that's kind of all in right now too. I think they'll get healthy at the right time. They're not healthy right now. They're still talented enough to be in the mix all the way to the end. They'll make a move or two to seal up whatever hole they have at the time, and I have them over the Padres. I think the Padres will probably get there with the team they have now and then get beat.
So you have the Yankees coming out of the wild card, is that right?
Yeah, I have Toronto one in the division, but then I have the
Oh,
Yankees.
good.
I have the Yankees with a wild card. Yep. We do have somebody taking all this down, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Corey's
he's
a
good.
stat fan.
I'm Corey.
Well, we're gonna need to do some cleanup, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I do have a wild card making the World Series as well. It's the Mariners. I've always
Same
rooted
here.
for the Mariners too, and they're back on top. This is great. But I've got them losing to the Atlanta Braves. I think Fried, Morton, Strider, Wright, that's your top four for your playoff push. The last couple of times when the Braves have been loaded, such as last year, they ran out of starting pitching because of some injuries. So hopefully they stay healthy this time. And a healthy Strider doesn't give up that massive bomb to Hoskins last year, and the playoffs go differently. But I like that top four with the offense they have.
All right, so our World Series choices. We got 2 homer picks, with Jared taking the Cardinals, Ahron taking the Braves. Joe takes the Yankees, which I never thought I'd ever hear in my life. And
Nope.
I take the Guardians over It Doesn't Matter. The Guardians are going to win.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
So
Well,
now that we've got division and World Series picks, let's go into the awards. So
Sweet. So let's start it off with Rookie of the Year. For me, I think he's up for a reason. Rookie of the Year for the AL is
Oh shoot, I thought you were going NL.
nope. Give me a second. So rewind that and then give me a second. So
Sorry.
I'm gonna go Volpe. I think you're starting shortstop for the Yankees. I know there's some history behind that, but they don't make this move unless they think he's the real deal.
Settle down, Corey.
Hitting in that park, hitting in that lineup, I think he's going to get some chances to do some cool things, and I think he's shown himself defensively already. So, all right, Skip, go ahead. The Rookie of the Year for the NL is going to be your boy Jordan Walker. I don't think there's a way this guy doesn't find a way into the lineup, because, like we all say, like we all know, if you hit, you play, and that's all this guy has done. He's giant. He's like a Stanton size. So I think those are my 2 picks. Moving on.
Go ahead, Corey.
all right. AL Rookie of the Year. I'm gonna take a guy who got kind of I would say dissed by his team. I think he's gonna have a bit of a chip on his shoulder and go Grayson Rodriguez. Gonna start the year off.
They're not starting him in the rotation. What's that all about?
I think he got sent down, didn't he?
Yeah, But he had a 2 ERA in AAA last year. Like, you're not quite ready.
Yeah, well,
I
and then like you see the Orioles, I feel like they're bringing these guys up and then they just send him down. I think he's gonna be a little mad about it, and I think Grayson's gonna come up.
I like it.
He's gonna shove, and he's gonna take the AL Rookie of the Year. And then you guys are giving all the love to Diamondbacks, but not talking about Corbin Carroll. I'm gonna take Corbin Carroll as my NL MVP. Guy hits.
MVP?
Rookie of the Year is late. Maybe he will
He's
be.
that good. He's that
Corbin
good.
Carroll MVP.
When's the last
Guardians
time
over
that
Blue
happened?
Jays.
We've been recording for so long. I don't even know where I am.
What day of the week is it?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Grayson, Corbin Carroll, ALNL Rookie of the Year, maybe MVP. I guess stay tuned to find out.
Hey,
We'll find out.
who knows? All right, Jared, you are the smartest man on this pod, apparently. I also picked Anthony Volpe. Yankees going for it all, announced that he's going to be starting shortstop. It was a good competition, 3 legit candidates, and he outperformed all of them to take it. 800 OPS in AAA, I believe 50 steals. So that's just going to get even better. In that lineup, I'd assume he's batting 8th or 9th. That second leadoff guy, as we like to say, it's going to score a lot of runs and no pressure on him to hit. So I think he's going to thrive. And I also have Corbin Carroll, not MVP, but Rookie of the Year. But as I said earlier, Diamondbacks winning the West. That's because I think Corbin Carroll is going to have a huge year. Already put up 1 WAR last year with an 830 OPS in the bigs. So he's got that cup of coffee. He's the number 1 rated prospect right now. Close in the American League. I was going to also say Gunnar Henderson, but
you can't have
going
more
Volpe.
than one pick.
Going
Easy.
Volpe. It's all you, Joe.
On to me. You want AL or NL first? I'll give you NL because it's the same as the other 2 guys, Corbin Carroll, which, to be honest, I had to research some of these young guys coming up to get a pick. But, man, that guy's has raked, and he raked in spring training as well. So I did have
I'll say no Walker? What the world?
I had him. I marked him out.
Scratched him off. Oh, no. That just cursed him.
Dead to me.
Sorry, Jordan.
So be sorry to me.
Sorry, Jay Lee. I mean, he's going to be number 2. He's going to be very close in the percentage vote getter. And then for the AL, I have Masataka Yoshida, rookie for Boston. Out of Japan, he could flop, but he's definitely going to get the chance to probably be a middle of the order hitter all year. So, I guess I'm just bidding high on Masataka Yoshida. That's a sweet
He was
name,
clutch
too.
in the World Baseball Classic, too. That homer he hit. I forget who he was off of, but
against Mexico.
pulled it off the dirt.
You're high on Yoshida, but you said that empty Boston Red Sox uniforms could play just as good as the rest of the team.
Well, he's one of 9.
Very sound.
Fangraphs, I think, has him projected to lead the league in hitting, so they're real high on him too.
That's pretty ambitious, but I mean, his OBP will be good enough, and he'll get the at bats. So we'll see.
All right, let's move on to the Cy Youngs. I was told I couldn't pick this guy for MVP before the pod, so I'm going to go ahead and pick him.
That means he's getting picked by everybody.
And Shohei Ohtani.
Foreshadowing.
I think the dude can win either or both, in my personal opinion. I mean, it's insane what he does. So I think it's a toss-up, but I was told he cannot win MVP, so that's why I'm putting him at Cy Young because, he can play both positions. And then I think for my NL, I'm going with Mr. Mad Max. I don't think there's a better pitcher out there in the NL right now. I think this dude, I hope he plays till he's 50. I love watching this guy. He's mad at every single person. He's mad at his teammates. He's mad at his mom. He's mad at his dad. He's mad at all his fans. Like, it's awesome. I hope he keeps the little pitch count or the pitch caller on his thing because that's pretty cool to see his call his own pitches. I think he's got something to prove in New York, and so I think he brings home the Cy Young.
All right, for my AL Cy Young, following my trend, I'm gonna go the guy who's done it, Shane Bieber.
The Biebs.
I think if I'm jumping on that Guardians bandwagon, I'm gonna jump on.
Mhm.
I'm gonna drive
Yeah.
it. Yeah, there you go. I think Beebs 2020 wasn't a fluke. I mean, it was a weird season, but won the Cy Young. I think he can do it again. I think he's got a team that can support him, get him the wins. If anybody still cares about wins, I think he's just a good pitcher. He's still young. I think he's been in the league so long. It seems like he might be older than it is, but he's it's prime time, baby. So I think Beebs is going to take it. NL Cy Young, not venturing too far off. Jay Lee here. I'm going to go Justin Verlander. Takes it. I mean, the guy just pitches. He's not too far away from
That he
250
does.
wins. Yeah. I pitch too sometimes, but not as good as Justin Verlander. Few wins away from 250. Comes back from Tommy John, just shoves. And I think having him and Max on the same team, they're just going to push each other. So I mean,
They've done it before.
that's true. I mean, but they were all. Max was a bit of a. Max wasn't. I mean, he's still Mad Max, but he wasn't.
Yeah, he's not
good
this Max.
Yeah. I think as they're both older, they're just gonna keep on each other, and we're just gonna see a special season out of both of them. And I think they'll both be up there, but I'll take Verlander.
If the Mets could get, which I have them getting to the playoffs, can you imagine Verlander and Scherzer just beast dogging like every other day? They just get better the more pitches they throw and the older they get.
Except for last time Scherzer was in the playoffs, he got too tired to pitch against the Braves.
Oh my gosh.
That's true. I was amazed, and they had to throw Buehler on short rest because Scherzer couldn't throw. All righty, Cy Young, American League. I have Christian Javier of the Astros. This dude's just been filthy. He's getting better. He's pitching more and more innings. 0.95 WHIP last year with the 2.54 ERA. And I think for the Astros to be back on top without Verlander, Javier's going to be a big part of that. So I'm going with Christian Javier. And then in the National League, surprise, I'm going Homer Domer, Max Fried. Let's just look at this. It is 69 starts since pandemic. He has a 2.67 ERA over his last 2.5 seasons. He had a 1 WHIP last year. Dude's a ground ball machine. He's a big-time competitor as well. He's been the best lefty over the last 5 years, statistically speaking, in rotation. So Max Fried's finally going to get it this year.
Somebody start playing the Oscars music to get him off the stage.
I'm just defending. I'm defending my picks.
Yeah, I know. I said 30 seconds. That's all we need. Moving along.
So I'll go with my NL because at least one other person already picked
Joe
him.
does it all backwards every time. What's going on?
What do I do?
Nothing good.
Max, yeah, I'm probably reading way too much into it, but something we really haven't talked about much is the pitch clock thing. Maybe that's going to have not an effect at all. Maybe it has a big effect. Scherzer is one of the quickest pitchers to the plate there is, so I really don't think that's going to affect him. If anything, it might even make him better, which sounds ridiculous. Still a beast, even at his age. I also have Bieber from Cleveland winning it. I think he's nasty. His walks are decreasing. His ERA and WHIP is always elite. Team's going to be good. He'll have the wins, and then he'll have all the other stats that count as well. Next.
I forgot about the pitch clock thing. I do think if that's going to benefit anybody, it's going to be Max. Like watching him pitch this spring.
And this is very limited research, but I think Ohtani had one of the slowest to the plate times last year when he started.
Well,
that's what he did.
I keep referencing I didn't get to pick him as MVP, so he had to win something.
I don't know who this MVP rule is, but that's bogus.
We never made that official. It was merely a suggestion.
No,
and you suggested it, and I listened. So
I appreciate that.
On to the MVPs. It should be Shohei Ohtani because for a guy who can do both of those things, it's
of course it should
stupid.
Be.
But if I'm not picking Shohei, because I was told I can't, for the sake of the pod, I'm going to pick
For the sake of the
Vladimir
pod.
Guerrero Jr. I think he carries the Blue Jays. I think he has an outstanding season.
Does he play in the NL or the AL?
Apparently doesn't matter to you. So
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna whoever. It doesn't matter who plays where because they're gonna lose to the Guardians.
And then unfortunately, I hate this pick, but I can't deny his talent for NL MVP. I think it's a huge season to show who he was pre-injury and come back a 40-40 man. I'll call it right now. I'm gonna pick Ronald Acuna Jr. baby.
Get them yellow shoes moving.
I hate the jersey he wears, but he's one of the most fun players to watch. So that's my picks.
Those are fine. I mean, the NL pick could have been better, but yeah, it's okay. I think for that we need to cut Cooney's time in half. So he gets 15 seconds now to talk about his MVP for the NL.
I need one word.
That's fine. I'm a big catcher guy, so I'm gonna say no sophomore slump for Mr. Adley. Take him as the AL MVP.
Did you have the
bold.
Orioles making it?
Yeah, wild card.
Okay.
I mean,
I was curious. I like it.
I think he's good. He had, I forget where he actually ranked in WAR last year, but he was I think top 5 WAR for catchers last year in not a lot of time.
Really good.
He is very good, and he hits
On my fantasy team.
Great. You want to trade him to me?
No, last year he was on my fantasy team, not
okay.
this year.
NL.
That might happen this year.
Oh, say can you see Mr. Trey Turner? He's going to keep that train rolling.
Not a bad pick.
NL MVP.
The first one's questionable. That's not a bad pick.
So my AL MVP is Shohei Ohtani. He's a two-way player. He does it all. I completely disregarded the semi-pact made to not pick him.
Whatever.
You think about, there's always, everybody knows somebody who's like good at everything or in ball, they can pitch and they can hit. Well, just think about that at like the highest possible level, and Shohei is phenomenal. And then on NL MVP, I had Arenado. I switched it to Soto, and I went back to Arenado.
Yeah. Okay.
Cory, you didn't hear this, but I told the other guys on our WBC trip that I'm not a big fan of Arenado.
No. You love everybody.
But I mean, he's hit really well in the spring in the WBC. I know that never means anything, but he just seems locked in. He's the ultimate competitor. His defense is always going to keep his WAR really high. I think if he can do 35 and a hundo and win another Gold Glove, he could possibly win it. So I went back to Nolan. I don't know how that swing hits, but it hits. So keep on keeping on. Go ahead, Kuhn.
All right. Well, I've got Trout and Acuna next.
Good. There you go.
All right, cool.
I mean, I don't think you need to say much about either of those guys.
Yeah, no, you really don't. No.
So, I mean, I don't think we need to recap that too much, but I mean, Cooney took Braves, whatever. Joe didn't listen and took Ohtani. That's fine.
I would say you took the most questionable pick.
I think Adley can be awesome.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I would say you're
for a catcher.
Few.
I like it though. If you got Baltimore making the playoffs, it's got to rely on somebody.
I mean, so I've got an Oriole as the MVP and the Rookie of the Year, and I just don't like it in that division. I don't think they can win it, but I think if they have good performance out of I mean, obviously, if they have a good performance out of their young guys, they can get somewhere. But no, I mean, I don't think anybody, had any curveballs in there. They're all good players. I mean, Rookie of the Years, you just never know. Whenever guys get called up, how they're going to perform. we'll see. You know, three Carrolls in the NL, 2 Volpes in the AL, and then a guy who said an empty uniform would play just as good as. And I going forward, I think we do plan as best we can to do a weekly episode, which will be, I think, more things that have happened in the past week in baseball, and we hope to do some trivia and some more fun games to keep it lighthearted. Like we kind of mentioned, we're just 4 guys that constantly text each other about baseball, and we thought obviously other people want to know about what we're talking about too. So yeah.
Don't forget to follow us at Rake Your Position, Rake Your Position on YouTube and Twitter. And I think that's it for our first pod, guys. So you know what that means. Don't forget to Rake Your Position. I messed it up. Have a good night, everybody.